Welcome back to part number 6 of my Imperator Rome playthrough as the Bosporan Kingdom. We have not been attacked by Rome as yet. It looks as though he's at war with various sorts. In Greece, he's trying to take over. It looks as though he's stayed away from Thrace, as there's no truce signed there. Thrace is allied with various sorts as well. And everything is relatively tame about this area. So we're over here. I was going to take Albania for just trade goods and pops. We seem to be able to hold the loyalties of non-urbanized former tribals reasonably well. And then I found that as we approached here, something happened. Was it Albania or Colchis? The Colchisian-Albanian War is fought over Take Kate, which would be here. It looks like somebody wants to take either. Looks as though Colchis started it. We're hoping to finish it. I was going to again attack Albania. I hired some mercs. We have our tribal vassal Heniocha. We're going to roll down here right through that area. We're going to send this guy in this direction. We're going to get our proper taxes down here as well. And get this guy back here on skirmisher duty. We're going to go into Colchis where there are a great many urban centers, which we like. We're going to put some theater squares in there. Or grand theaters. As opposed to Albania. There's exactly one. Or no, there's one here. It's deep. In former Armenia. He hasn't done anything here. There are no cities. Usually there are a great many. And then there's one city here. We wouldn't even go that deep to get this one city. Then we would end up with a whole swath of territory here from Albania. Anyway, we're not going there, but it would have been interesting to see what would have happened. Anyway, we're going to do Colchis. It should be uneventful. There may be some, issues where we may need to declare on Albania as well, in order to deoccupy a Colchisian territory that may or may not be occupied by Albania. We may end up at war with both, but if I can avoid it, I'm just going to take some quick territory from Colchis and get out. In theory, some of our Bosporan pops that sort of mull about here in the steppe could be moved down into these cities and create research down there. That's even better for the whole Colchis effort. Looks as though we have a new Basilius here. Basilista. The mad Albanians are advancing into Colchis very quickly. Apparently, Where's our claim again here? Colchis proper, the provenance of here. That's here, right? Yeah. I think it's still on, although it's getting a little tighter than one might expect otherwise. Let's do it. Right now. There's the capital here. We're gonna rush right by that capital. We'll have this unit here take it. And we're gonna get here as well. I'll let you know if anything interesting happens. We have made it to the capital of Colchis, our war goal, and there are no other forts there. So we should be able to achieve that objective. Boom, we've done it. Let's take this this capital area. I'm going to roll right by here into this area here. Try to get there sooner than not. Let's have this guy head down here. We're going to roll down here as well to this area. And let the Albanians have this aspect. We've made it here as well to its capital. We are the siege leader, and there are no other Albanians about. How unfortunate for the levy of Albania here and the first levy of Colchis. So the Colchis navy is up here, but there don't seem to be any cohorts, so he's hazarding or making faces at our capital. There's no one up here. This fort needs to fall here, so we're going to siege it down with our second Taxus of Torca, and this merc will just mull about here and just wait and see what happens. Looks like there's a first levy of Cappadocia Pontica here as well on its way back. It's unfortunate really for it. Oh dear, another shattered retreat courtesy of the Albanians. I think it'll be a stack wipe. Boom. I think another here as well. Boom. We killed more guys. A shattered retreat here ran into our merc stack. That's a quick victory against Cold Cheese, that's for sure. I think it's looking like a complete victory. We'll be able to take quite a bit of war score out of them. It looks like this aspect has opened up. Although we really want this territory here is Hellenic. But I did send a smaller stack here to see about acquiring the territory. I think their war may have ended. It's still on. The Colchisians, well, who knows. The first army of Colchis showed up. I think this guy probably laid the smackdown on the Albanians, but I don't think he's going to fare particularly well against our Miltech, which is much higher. And this merc is 11. Looks like he wants some here. We've got it for him, though. It's a slaughter. A slaughter. On morale, at least. Boom. We dropped the siege, and we're able to proceed here into Hellenic territories, which we're after. We should theoretically auto-occupy all of that. How's our food? Reasonable. Let's go and do it. Capital siege just dropped here as well. Let's just wait. I think we beat these Albanians to this territory here. I'm not sure. We're going to find out. Let's see. Boom. We have the formerly shattered First Army of Colchis here back from war. We're going to go and give him some. We're maxed out here at 57 aggressive expansion, 69 war score. We can take more. We will. I'm going to order an assault here, see if we can get this done sooner than later. I don't know if it's going to work. It cost us actual manpower. It's not work. I'm going to take more money here. We have a pretender gone mad. Let's see, she's got to forfeit her position clearly. And we'll take the money. There's a couple of armies headed down in this direction toward our Taxus. This is a merc. I'm going to try the assault again. We're going to... Actually, none of the Taxus, isn't it? Well, let's see about taking this guy out. Looks good. It's a slaughter. Let's head over here, take this province there. We'll take more stability. We're probably going to need it. Let's order another assault, close this war out. Boom. That should be 100% occupation. I just checked complete annexation is going to be 111 war score. I think I'm going to leave some of this territory here untaken. Albania has claimed this. We'll not worry about that, as Albania will probably take it over or not. But we will get down here and adjacent to Pontus, to where maybe we can war with Pontus or the Seleucids or whom not in this area. We'll take some territory in this heavily urbanized area. Let's do that right now. I think this should be laid out as per my statement, and let's do it. We've done it. We need to burn down this aggressive expansion and build some stuff here. Let's see how much our various costs are. And I'm just going to do that. I'm going to build theaters. They're 189. Probably build them in as many urban centers as I can. And move some pops about, do this and that. I'll be back to you when I have something else to do. Well, Pontus is unaffiliated and presently at war, and I see no reason why we shouldn't drop a claim. Where is this? Cappadocia. It's as good as any other right there. Boom, we'll do that. As we're neighbors now, why not drop a claim on the Seleucid Empire when you never really know when you might want it or not? It's only 20 PI, so we'll do that. We were running a bit low on food. I think this legion ran completely out. So, I'll grab a couple of more supply trains, one for each of these armies, and round out our legion count at 48. We are unfortunately maxed out on our traditions, and not for long. I don't think it lasted particularly long, but... So here we have this, and then levy size would be nice as well, but I like morale as well. We have some loyalty burn here, a fairly substantial amount that's probably not going to end anytime soon. So let's just spend the money here and try to get some Hellenism and Bosporianism here in this close or proximal territory to our Bosporan kingdom proper. As to what goes on down here, they seem loyal somewhat. That one's down. This is positive here, is slightly down. So this one and this are the problem. This is not pretty either. It's not pretty. So we need to deal with this province as well. Looks as though the problem here is Bathi Sleeman, which is here. We'll plop a couple of these down and move some pops into Phasis and the Sleeman area. You know, I think if I cancel all of these build-outs and then change my policy to the 10% build cost, I think over the longer term, there's a lot of cities here now that I'm going to be building. I think if I can... Let's try that. I think there's a lot of bonuses that I have to my commerce income here. Mercantile, complex tariff, surplus of dates, state harbor, ruler finesse. All that makes the level 1 policy here that I've enacted since the start of the game less than stellarly effective relative to the other boni we have. I wonder if there are other things that can be had, namely the build cost here and build time as well. Let's do that. So how much money have we saved now? We can build these theaters now for less. We'll leave that in place for the foreseeable future, I think. And where to go and what to do. I think I'm going to use some of this money. We'll colonize another province or two here. This Olbia area, as described previously, is just barely holding on. It has just barely enough food. We need to get more trade routes in this area. And as we're maxed out on the academies and our noble ratio is about as good as it's going to get, we need to increase the trade routes by some degree here at least. We'll go like that and see what happens. Colonized a couple of provinces here. They're loyal, so why not do it? We'll be able to extract the goods and trade them. Boom, another breakthrough here. Let's see what we have. 4 now. I'll take the 0.20 tick for legitimacy, surely. I'm gonna build more some academies in these cities here, trying to get a few more nobles for trade routes. We're sort of running a bit low on food. Do we have? We don't know. I think there's a free some provincial improvements available from something here, but not particularly close per se. Here? It is. It's right here. Actually, I thought it was 1 down. It's right here that we gain 4 free. Well, let's do it. We'll spend on trade routes right now. This is sort of looking as to why we're having a food crisis here. We have livestock and 2 grain and a fish here. I sort of get to wondering really whether we could import these goods. As there's a lot of higher order pops in these farming settlements, like 3 citizens and 4 freemen, leaving less slaves there. There are laws and such, I think. Actually, that there don't seem to be any that increase the slave ratio here. And I don't know that I'm happy with 2 grain production for this, as we have a fair number of imports and they don't do anything. So there's like some slaves there. They don't even build 1 grain. They build 1, but they don't build a surplus. It's sad, and I think these cities are going to have to, or these settlements are going to have to be turned to cities, and they can import whatever goods they need to import from wherever. I think that's a decent enough plan. I'm going to turn one of this coastal grain into a city right now. I think this fish area here as well, I'm going to urbanize it. I'm going to take some stability here, pay a little money, but we'll take it. Let's see if we can keep our nobles happier. Okay, we have a scorn here. I took a quick look at the families here, and I don't know why that the game demands that you take a personal interest in the reproductive activities of these various guys. We can arrange a marriage, perhaps here. The bottom line is that I don't want to take a personal interest in the various activities of this family, and we are going to have her go on she's going to have a group, 10 kids right now. It's a massive birth, and she has not triplets or quadruplets, but 10 kids. She's done it. She survived the ordeal gloriously, and the Spartakid line will indeed carry on with all these glorious infants. In fact, I think that all of our glorious families need to have Aphrodite-inspired, or actually not Aphrodite, it's Aeneas, the Hellenic deity of fertility. Our former Basilius is going to bless the characters with 5 babies, the head of every family there. The other 3 great families presently. I'll be back. Gad, who are these guys here? I don't really know. I guess I'd just leave them be. I don't want to inadvertently place them in office, but they're not showing on the. They are showing on the scorn. No, they're not. The Charclids are scorned. So we have our new infant, inspired by our deity of fertility here, our glorious Basilius. And I'm going to see about descorning the family and carrying on. Our city of Lampos has just arrived, as Parthenion as well. I'm going to get those populated and check the food status here. Let's see. What is that? Looks as though we didn't really feel the food crunch from either of these becoming urbanized. And I just need to populate them with how many pops? There's about 20 there, about 20 there, about call it 50. And I may well do away with this livestock there as well. I think I can extract some pops from these areas here. There should be largely Bosporan. They are. In fact, they just sort of mull about in this area here because I have the capital territory set to cultural assimilation. So I'm going to get these guys, there's not many of them, into these new 2 cities. I'll be back. Alright, I did all that. I just barely did it with all the money I have. I'm broke again, but I think I may have profited food-wise by destroying the city on, or the former grain, suboptimal grain plantation, I must admit. It turned into glass, and I was importing 2 glass to raise the civ value. So I think now I can import 2 grains via the routes that I'm not importing glass for, and I have an extra glass, and I have a city, which will soon be filled with nobles and citizens that create value for both trade routes, research, etc. et al. So I think I'm going to do away with this one as well, and hope I roll something like silk or some other thing that I'd like to have as well. We have a fair clip of food, and I have the ability to acquire more. So I think I'm going to do that as soon as the funding becomes available. Maybe instead of building those new cities, these are bleeding just a wee tiny bit. Our stability is low. They're really, the loyalties are quite high. Let's not worry about it. We'll get our 50 plus stability back and they'll be happy again. I'm going to wait and build these cities. We have a Touched by Hermes event here. 648 gold is plenty for our city building activities, as well as grand theaters for the former Colchizian cities in the center of Anatolia there. So we are building exactly 1 grain because we need 12 slaves. So these guys are already freemen and citizen, and they'll be much happier in a city. Let's see if the same can be said here. We are indeed building 2 livestock there, although there are a great many. Here's where it sort of falls apart. We'll have to promote import livestock. Yeah, we'll do that as well. There's no difference really. And then let's see, we have a dead governor. We'll just play someone extremely loyal, and then we'll go down here and then just check, see if we can build something to do something. And actually, these are just tribal areas. I know where the attention needs to get paid is right here. Let's see if we can build something in our singular urban center here. We'll build a theater, and then we'll centralize some pops in there. So that month ticked over. We are constructing a theater. Prior to the theater we're building, we are converting at a fair clip, so we'll not worry about a temple. Let's see about colonizing a couple of more provinces here and here while I'm waiting for those cities to get built. Well, I've done it. I took another couple of provinces. It'll probably juice our commercial income, which is 82.65 relative to our taxes. If we hadn't had all this territory, we probably wouldn't be able to support this large legion and not really feel it. So we are able to carry on and build cities for 200 and not really worry about it. We build these various theaters for 150 or thereabouts and not really worry about it. We have academies. We're sort of tinkering around here with this province here. Is always trouble. But I think we're going to come through the other side, and it should at some point have enough nobles to get that 5th trade route, and then we'll be able to have a proper a granary or food supply in that province at some point. Worst comes to worst, we'd have to annex this from Thrace at some point, and we wouldn't even be able to think on that matter regarding Thrace unless we had done all of this. Makes me feel better against Rome. I think we probably could fend him off. These legions are fearsome. They are a bonus to various things. Specifically, we have some bonus for the discipline of our cohorts here, 20%. But the further we get down here, we have a 45, 35 offense and 25. So that's 45 discipline, and then just straight 35% more for offense. And then we have horse archers here. It's no small pip there either. 40% discipline, 10% morale, 10% defensive. We have a bonus here as well, about 5% for morale for the entire lot, because we keep quite a bit of military experience here on ice. So I would wager we probably the archers do horse archers do very well against Roman heavy infantry. The heavy cav not so much, but the heavy cav does very well, and Rome likes its archers. The infantry do better against heavy cavalry, but again we have some serious boni there. With that having been said, we'll just let these two cities pop. I'm going to let them populate them in between episodes, and then I'll come up with a plan and see what happens. I hope to see you in the next one.